Yo, how's it going, YouTube? It's me, Croc, and I hope you're having a great day. In this vid, this is a part 2 of the things I dislike about Monster Hunter World. So if you dislike it, if you like it, if you have opinions, go ahead and do all of that in the down there. You know where to go. In my last vid, I had a couple comments that said that I said that the game was objectively just bad, and I never said that. So don't say that I said that. I like Monster Hunter World. It's just certain things inside it that I don't like. Certain mechanics, certain implementations, certain updates. You know, it's just little things. They're not that I dislike the game as a whole. I mean, take a look. I have thousands of hours on this account alone, let alone my other account that I also have put in at least another 600 hours. I'm max level, on this account, and I've played Monster Hunter since 3 try, and I got max rank in there. I have 9,000 hours in 3 try on the Wii. I can't play it no more because I don't have a Wii anymore, but yes, I love Monster Hunter. Even though someone as such as I can have all of this time, all of this passion put into a game, the game still has flaws, in my opinion, just like any other game. Every game has flaws, every art has flaws, and these are my objective opinions on these flaws. If I see any trolls or I think you're trolling in the comments, you're gonna get hidden from my channel, and I don't care. I don't. Now, with all that being said, let's get into the first topic of this video, and that is dislike number one. Dislike number one will have to be trying to help someone who's fresh to the game, and they have to go to these to watch these unskippable cutscenes. That is terrible. That is terrible and a major dislike for me. Imagine trying to help your friend, but you can't join the quest until he has found or tracked the monster down and has to watch a cutscene. Forcefully, even though he's played the game before, he has to watch the cutscene. They're unskippable, and you can't join the mission while he's watching the cutscene. It's terrible. I was streaming and someone came into my chat, and I was trying to help this dude, and this is what I saw.
Period.
Every time I tried to join the quest, I just couldn't because there's a cutscene that he has to see. So it's just ridiculous, man. This is ridiculous. This should not be in the game. This should never have been a thing. I don't know what Capcom were thinking about this, but this is terrible and one huge dislike.
And you can't skip it, huh? You can't skip the cutscenes, huh? Yeah, GG, man. Oh, there we go. Now I can join.
Dislike number two will have to be the monster roster. When the game was being updated and we didn't have many monsters, and we were getting Deviljho, we were getting the expansion, all the monsters that came with the expansion, plus Rajang and Fatalis and all these other things, it was great. Getting these monsters as the game was being updated, as the game was a live service, was amazing. It was great. Thank you, Capcom. I appreciate that. But as the game has matured and as the game has just been sitting here, just been getting maintenance updates, the monster roster doesn't really seem all too great. Yes, we have some bangers like Tigrex, Zinogre, Safi'jiiva, and Fatalis, but most of the other roster is just kind of lame. Maybe lame shouldn't be the word, but the roster was pretty dull. We had, especially when the expansion came out, we had all these monsters come in, and a quarter of them were just like variants or whatever. Like we had Tobi-Kadachi, and then we had Viper Tobi-Kadachi, then we had Kuluak, oh no, Puke, then we had Coral Puke, and then in the base game we had Rathalos, Azure Rathalos, Rathian, Pink Rathian, and then gold and silver Wraths. Like, bro, that's an insane amount. And then we had Rajang, Furious Rajang, Yangaruga, Scarred. What even is Scarred Yangaruga? We had Uragon and then Rattleban. We had Odogaron and then Adobe Odogaron. We had Teostra and Lunastra, give it, those are kind of different. The fights are kind of different, low key. So I'm not even gonna count that one. But then we had Basil and then Seething Basil, Legiana. Then I don't even remember what the other one was called. Like we had Nergigante and Ruiner Nergigante. Like Feet, like what changed about most of those fights? They kind of just seemed the same to me. It just seems like World prioritized quantity over quality. This is why Monster Hunter Generations and why people say that the old games were better, because each, like for instance Generations, right? Generations had so many monsters, right? Give it that, World is a certain, it's a more developed game, right? Graphically and all that jazz, right? But Generations is considered like one of the best games because of the roster. The roster damn near has every single monster in Monster Hunter history, and you never get tired. You never get tired of fighting the same things because you know that there's others, or you know that there's like the quantity of the fights are different. Like when you fight a Nargacuga, right? You fight a normal Nargacuga, and then you fight the deviant, Silverwing Nargacuga, or whatever he's called, right? Those two fights are similar, but they're so different. It's absurd to even say that they are the same. Like a comparison I can think off the straight off my head is Glavenus and the shitborn Glavenus in the Rotten Vale. What is different there? What is different? How are those two fights different? You can't. You can't. They have the same shits. Like I said, Monster Hunter World is a great game. There's just certain things that I dislike about it, and the route that they took, especially with the variants and the roster that they have in World. They could have definitely added way better fights in the game, besides the big climax at the end with Fatalis and Safi and Elatrion, all that stuff. Like all World, like when you think of World, you automatically think of like the climax of World. You never think of Glavenus, acidic Glavenus. You never think of Puke and Coral Puke. You never think of these things. That's because the fights are so mediocre that you don't think of these things off the top of your head. Maybe some people do. I have yet to meet those people. So, hey, for each to our own, man. That's on you if you do think of these things. But when I think of them, I'm always thinking about Elatrion, Safi, Xeno, Colv, Fatalis, maybe Devil Joe, maybe Rajang. Like, I'm always thinking of these big fights that were always good and fun. But World is a game where it got a lot of people into it. So if this is your first game, I'm not dissing you. I'm talking as a perspective as a veteran player who's been playing these games and knows what to expect. If your first game was World and you love the monster roster, thank you for playing the game. Thank you, happy hunting, my guy. You feel me? But at the same time, I think that the World roster was just adding monsters of different variants and not really adding quality to those fights. Like what I mean by quality, I mean like imagine Brachydios, right? And then you got Raging Brachydios. Like the quality of that fight just went up by like 5 times. It's literally the same monster, but the quality of that fight just went up by at least a magnitude. You feel me? That's what I mean by quality. The quality of the variants or the monsters that they added for the roster were not good for the base game, and only really got good at the end when they added Fatalis and such, right? Anyways, do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Lay your opinion down below in the comment section. And if you like what you see, if you want to see builds, discussions, theories in the future when Monster Hunter Wilds drop, please sure to subscribe and stay tuned. You can always unsub later. Anyways, much love, stay safe, peace out.